Hopefully this doesn't take too long. Okay, I'm gonna just put this here because okay, that's there. I'm gonna put this here because usually when I hold this thing, I usually move it all around all the place, and it just makes this clack sound, which I really fucking hate. So we're gonna leave it here for now. Anyways, hey, I'm New Jack, and if you remember or if you saw the first episode of this, what's supposed to be a weekly podcast, I had black hair. Now I have pink hair that's really crazily wild right now because I just took a shower and I like hygiened the hell out of it. Basically, I put a bunch of conditioner and freaking whatever, all that crap to maintain it, oils and freaking texturizers, and it's just such a bitch to take care of. And I feel like every time you dye your hair, it's such a maintenance. I wish you could just dye it and then it just stays the way it is. But of course, new tattoo, new hair, and you have to maintain all of this crap. But I'm back. I wanted to kind of check in and I kind of wanted to talk about a few things since it's been kind of a minute. And I think the last time I talked about this was about loneliness and isolation, which, if you watch that first episode, was just kind of me coming into terms into like, and how I deal with that kind of stuff and what kind of is my outlet. And so, thus, moving forward, I wanted to kind of talk about something that's very, very important to me. And I know that it is a very, very, very open topic and that everyone has their own opinions about it. And I feel like it can get very political at some points, in which I don't want to dive too much into that, but I want to talk about what creativity and what it means to me and how it has shaped me to be the person that I am today. Obviously, there's so much things that happened from then till now, and I obviously finished the project I've been working on for 5 months. I went to go see things that kind of re-sparked my influence of actually being a creator or creativity. Like I went to go see the Takashi Murakami mural and also videos and movie and music video that he did with Billie Eilish inside of Broad in Los Angeles. I went to go see the Gorillaz do their newest album release and listening party for The Mountain, which was just freaking beautiful and I loved so much. And me finishing this project that's been taking me 5, almost 6 months, that has been my creative outlet for how I've been feeling emotionally. So yeah, there's a lot of things to kind of go over here, and I just really wanted to visit this because it's definitely something that's engraved into me, and no matter what I have chosen in life, I feel like even if I wanted to do like the simple kind of workmanship and I also wanted to live the plain life of just working that 9 to 5 and like doing like art as a hobby, I feel like I really want to be able to balance the two. And actually, I haven't been able to balance the two over the past few years. It was always something that was a hobby, and I feel like regular jobs were interfering with what I really wanted to do. And there's been multiple times where I was at work and I was like, "There's so much shit I could be doing better with my time than doing this fuck ass job, and just trying to make money to pay off the bills." And I get it, we have bills to pay, but at the end of the day, it's like, why do we even fucking make this system anyways when it's like hindering us to fucking do what we really love and want to do? Because then you're just like working this job that you take so much time to go to, and it takes a big chunk out of your day, and then you have to run errands after that, and by the time you get home, like, you really have to grind and you're so dead tired that you don't want to work on anything, and then there's no influence coming from it, and it's just a whole cycle that keeps you at bay from wanting to do what you want to do. So I think that was something that was really big to me, back in like, yeah, 2025 and 2024, like all these years. I fucking 2020, I'm telling you, from 2020 till now has just been such a roller coaster of a ride of me coming into fruition and really expressing myself as an artist and as a creative, and it's helped me form who I've really been wanting to trying to be as a child. Like I feel like what I'm giving myself is someone I would look up to and just be like, "Oh wow, like that's us, like that's fucking crazy." This shit, like I don't think I would have been able to really pull off like even dyed hair back then because I was so afraid to do it. And that's just a small step. Like that little crutch right there is nothing even that big of a significance and so kind of moral standard, but at the same time it kind of can be when you're not in that comfort zone. You're stepping outside the box a little bit. This has been interesting, very, very interesting past couple months. And I think that it has been very meaningful and insightful and just like so defining in my creative craft. And let's go back to what was in October when the whole stroke and stuff like that, which I covered beforehand in the previous episode. If you didn't see it, then obviously a little recap would be like, me going through the breakup and my brother's stroke, and then me living in isolation and losing a job, and then having to find myself and my finances and stuff like that. So this project that I was working on from October, which was an idea that came up as a merciful mind, because I wanted it to be kind of an answer back, like an A to B from another set I had called a Healthy Heart. And that was the first iteration. And then what I wanted to have was like the side B, which would be a merciful mind. And maybe when I go down the line, I might need something else. There's something I have in mind that might be the third part to this whole entire series. But for now, this was supposed to be that answer back, and that was just an idea back then in October. And then the whole incidents happened, and it was my outlet of expressing my mindset during those time periods from then till now, and how I felt. Like, it was not just emotionally, it was literally just the whole mindset of how much it was fluctuating and how much I had to keep in practice of the tools that I learned to deal with my whole entire mental diagnosis. It really was something that I poured myself into, of just like, I selected songs that really had to do with mindfulness and mindset and how I felt at the time and what my thinking process was. The visuals that I made for that whole entire set list were exactly how I felt. They're very explosive, they're very fluid, they're very calm, and the songs lyrics that I've chosen for this whole set list have been an iteration of just like how I truly feel. When you see the set list and actually the songs that go by, because this is why I had multiple lyrics in that video or that set that I've made recently, you'll see what I'm talking about. To kind of clarify too, this set is called A Merciful Mind for those reasons. I've been working on it since October till the deadline, which was March of this month. I recorded it with my photographer, my director, Mr. Logan Ward of Sinister Films, which is a great, amazing man that I've been best friends for years. Has done a lot of my film works. And we got done recording it on March 8th. We're meeting up this upcoming Tuesday, which is about 2 days away. I'm recording this Sunday. And we're basically just going to go over like what we need to do to finalize it. We got to put the audios that I recorded like while playing, and he's got to sync it up with the video footage. We're going to just clarify what sequences belong to what sequences, since I recorded into the board, and then he has his video footage. It's a whole technical thing. I am really excited to release this to everybody, like, because this has just been something that has been so part of me for so long, and has shown a very big vulnerability of myself that I kind of have been not showing for a little bit before that. I think I was just playing to play and experience and have fun. And I think this time that this project has really showed a side of me that's like very vulnerable and very out there, and also very, in my feels, but like showing you how my mindset has been fluid and flowing through this whole fucking time of me in October till now. To tell you the truth, too, this set was my outlet for that whole time period. And then, everything that led up to it, all like the stuff of me going to the Takashi Murakami mural to get more inspired, me going to the Gorillaz listening party, a band that was literally part of my childhood. And like, they're a consecutive band I listened to for years. And seeing that, like, let me talk about that for a second. So seeing the Mountain listening party was so like substantial to my mindset too, because like it was just the fucking like cherry on top of like how everything has been happening till now. Because the Mountain's whole entire interpretation is that it's the journey up the mountain. You're gonna go through these trials and tribulations. It's gonna be rough. You're gonna come to a plateau, and there's still like a peak ahead and stuff like that. And when you get to the peak, and when it's finally over, you reflect on everything that you've done and all the time it's taken to get up there, the losses, like the hang time, and also like the times you fell down, you got back up and picked yourself. Like the whole iteration of the Mountain is so beautiful, because even Damon Albarn and Jamie Hewlett talked about how the whole process of it came because Jamie Hewlett lost his father. I think his wife at the time lost her mother or her parent like a little bit before that. And then Damon was going through some kind of like trials and tribulations. That's so when they went to India to visit, like this whole scenic operation, because Jamie Hewlett was so in love with it that they all got a whole new grasp of like what life and death kind of meant and called a reincarnation and this whole entire thing. It's kind of like almost like a Beatles trip. But with that too, they used they used dead artists to make this album new and whole again, but these are like old recordings that have been in the bank for who knows how long. For instance, they had songs like, I think there was so much stuff taken from like Plastic Beach and a little bit from Demon Days, because they had Dennis Hopper do the opening again. It was outtakes from a fire coming out of a monkey's head, and there's multiple tracks with like Bobby Womack, Marky Smith, one of the members from De La Soul that passed away as well, and they also had just proof from D12, which means that track had to be sitting in the bank for at least like 15 to 20 years, which means that I was a child, because that was like during the time that they did 9/11 with D12, and that came out like when I was a kid. So thinking back on all this, like flash, like that whole album was looking back at past works and releasing these works into something new that no one's ever heard. So they're like, it may be old work, but at the same time, this is something entirely new if the world's never heard it, which is entirely true and beautiful, because it's coming back to a full circle of how, everything they worked on still comes into a great light of just this beautiful, beautiful tracks that I have been taken back by. And there's so much good sound, Syrian sound, so much good live instrument use, and seeing that was just crazy too, because all the singles we got and all of like the little like defined tracks that they were trying to release, and then the Kong Studio tour that they did, or the Kong Studio pop-up shop. I think that's still going right now. Maybe you might have to look that up. It's here in Los Angeles. I know that there's still tickets, and I think there's still like a merch store open. When the album finished, at the very end of the set, like all of us got kind of quiet and cheered, but it was like the whole process of like that was the journey up the mountain. Like there was so much before it, and now that it's come to an end, like you're just kind of taken back because you're like, damn, like it's really over. And so that right there was something that I took to heart very much so, because I was on the ending parts of my set and I was finalizing a few songs. I like finalized, like I think that night I actually was I left my computer open to render or download the last of the visuals. I think I still had to work like on one other thing, like I had to do like a re-edit. But at that time, like I left my computer open to finish that. And I was even thinking to myself too, I was like, oh shit, I'm coming to a closure. And so when I saw the listening party of the Mount End, I was like, fuck, it's really coming to an end. And then came the day where Logan and I had to get together and shoot. I booked the studio time. Amazing studio, by the way, amazing people. Thank you guys for the everyone out there and the team that let me be able to use the space, and so welcoming with all the equipment use. When Logan and I got there and saw the space, and actually, see, this is what I'm talking about. That morning too, there was like an edit that I did on my phone real quickly because there was something I didn't like, so I had to like nitpick it and be like, okay, and then like re-downloading it or upload it to my Google Drive. But during that time, like as I was waiting for him to get to the studio, I was thinking to myself, like, holy shit, this is the end of the journey. This is the end of this whole thing that I've been working on, that has been my scapegoat. It has been like, I'm getting teared up, like even talking about it. It has been my whole entourage of just like pouring my emotions out, pouring myself into this project. And it's just taken, and I know a lot of creativity as an artist can also agree with that. When you put so much into something that you love and you've been working on it for so long, like this has been like roughly 5 to 6 months. And so it was like being at a funeral service. And even Logan was saying that. Logan was saying, he's like, it feels like we're at a funeral service or something, but at the same time, we're in celebration of this whole entire project. We're celebrating this, and it just feels so good. He's like, and the high energy between us and like the team was just so high. And all of us were like, are you ready? And like, we were like getting excited, and like, we're like getting adrenaline, like getting set up. And as soon as we saw the room, and then we were just like having fun like kids. Like all of us were running around like kids at a water pool, and I was just so ecstatic about it, and I was a little bit anxious at the same time, because I was telling myself, I was like, this really is the end. This was something that has been, everything to me, and it's definitely been an episode of a chapter in my life. And I really am appreciative towards that because obviously a lot has happened. I mean, besides the dyed hair and the tattoo and like the shows and the art displays and stuff like that, like there's been a whole journey and a thought process that has helped me shape the person who I am and who I was supposed to be even after this. And I'm not done yet because every artist creativity, Dumpling, Logan, freaking my homeboy, oh, my estate, Mars, shout out all of you guys, Rosemary, like every single one of my creative friends, when I was telling them this exact same thing I'm telling you, said the same thing. They were all just all like, it's beautiful. And that means that like it's come to a close and this is part of your resume now, but on to the next. Like that's great. Like, you know, you finished it, you're done, and that is something to be proud of because like now it is just a part of you and part of who you are, and I'm glad you completed it, but we move on. Like we move. Marston said that shit. He's like, good shit, we move. And I was just like, I know, it's so crazy because it's true. You do keep moving, you know, these things, it doesn't stop there. Obviously I have actually an announcement really quickly too, as I have a show with Dion and Dumpling and all of them at Pasadena for their Beat Haven's 1 anniversary. That's 1 year anniversary, and I can't believe it's already been that long already. And I'm just like, whoa, holy crap! Like, congratulations on that. So shout out to all the artists that are going to be there. There's going to be a live artist painting show, along with all the other DJs and performers playing there, along with me. All of us will have 30-minute sets. So if you want to come see me play and some of the other cool artists play, I'll be behind bars in Pasadena. I do have it on my post inside my YouTube channel. So if you go to my post, you'll actually see the flyers up if you want to see more about that. Going back to what I was saying beforehand, though, that is like, you know, we move on to the next. And there's other projects I'm already kind of like looking forward to at this point. I'm still kind of working things with Anime Expo. There's already stuff that I'm already kind of getting prepared for to move on forward. So yeah, it's like the ball keeps rolling. And that was a very big part of my life that I really took a lot away from, and it's just helped me therapeutically in some ways. It really has helped me express how I felt, and might be a little bit much. I mean, when you see the video uploaded, I'm pretty sure like there's going to be some moments some people are going to be like, "Wow, you really got into this, and you're being a little bit much." Might have a flip off the camera a few times, you know, just being in my element. Also, something else that I've taken back up that one of my friends and also another creative that I have and I follow here on YouTube, the Lady Gypsy, what is her name? The Wandering Gypsy, I believe. If I might have butchered that, I'm so sorry. She's a great art teacher, and she talks about art journaling. And my friend Omaiste Marston also got me back into art journaling, which is I've always been a freehand drawer. I always love physical drawing. Like I'm not trying to shit on digital drawing whatsoever. I digitally create visuals, so it's like I'm really talking about myself here. If I fucking I'm gonna shit on digital artists, there's something so much more spiritual when you're putting pen or paints to paper or canvas. Like there's something way more connective and kinetic. Like same with if you like pick up a guitar and you start playing a guitar, you know, there's something way more than just doing it by a DAW and having it like typed out on the keypad. You can make great shit. People make great shit all the time. I save so much art on you know, on Pinterest. I listen to people's sets on YouTube where I still fanboy the fuck out because it's just like so amazing, but I still feel like it's like more connective and energetic and pleasing to the soul if you're just putting that pen and paper to like, you know, the canvas in all aspects or forms. And it's helped me a lot. It's really helped me express how I feel on another side besides what music can't do, like or what visuals can do. Like visuals and art for sure can help me express a lot, but I've noticed too, there's still subtle things that like I didn't realize that I can express even more so back when I'm drawing and actually getting back into painting again, which I really, really I love. I have such a great appreciation for it. Not saying this in an egotistical sense away. I really do love myself. Like I do. I love myself in this way, in a way that like I want to see myself do good, you know? Like I want to like take care of myself, and I want to take care of myself up here as well as in here, and just know that I can do something beautiful with all this pain and these things that I went through, the heartbreaks, you know, the suffering, the traumas and stuff like, and I don't have to just sit in it. Like I want to turn that into something gorgeous that I could look upon and be like, good, like you're processing. And sometimes there has been works that I've done, Sad Boy Summer, for instance, like I've done this shit and I'm just like, that's a lot. Like that's a lot of shit you're going through, and I get it. But like you just have to release this in some kind of healthy way. As long as it's healthy. You know, substance is not gonna do anything for you. And if you hurt yourself, like it's not gonna fucking that physical pain is not gonna take away from the emotional pain that you feel from the inside. that might be a little bit dark and a little bit gritty, and I might be a little bit heavy-handed, but it's a truth. It very much is a truth because I've experienced it firsthand. I've actually, been with people like that firsthand, and I've actually experienced it myself firsthand. And I don't want to like, cross any boundary lines. So I think I'll just leave it right there. But just know that like that's what it comes with. There is healthy ways to express yourself, and I want to see that for myself. I do love myself in that regard, where I want to take care of that inner child and adult me right now. It's a whole process that I really want to appreciate as I grow with it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a great artist at all. And I'm okay. First off, this is not a pity party. I have even said this back on my TikTok video earlier today when I made a little like snippet about like this whole entire subject I'm talking about. But this is not a pity party. I'm not trying to say this in any regard that I'm like, oh, damn, I suck, and I'm like trying to find meaning in it and stuff like that. Like, I know the meaning of what I do, and I know my purpose, so I'm really comfortable talking about this. But to tell you the truth, I don't know if I'm like a great artist. I feel like there's always room for improvement, but I don't mean that in a sense like you're not good enough or that kind of. There was those moments, so I think that I'm trying to iterate this and saying that like I'm always going to be a student. There's always going to be more to learn. There's always going to be new tools or techniques or stuff like that. People are always going to be better, but there's always time for me to learn more, to better myself. And I feel like that's something I really appreciate about myself, is to look at that in that aspect. There's always going to be a student mindset to learn more and appreciate more in that kind of life. Um, for instance, too, this is why on my page that I say that I am an artist and not a DJ, because that's the way I look at it. I mean, I don't think I'm a great DJ. I can DJ. I think there's a lot of people that do a lot better than me, and I think there's a lot of beautiful, talented artists out there that just mix and stuff like that. And then I get it. Like, I'm probably not everyone's cup of tea. I think there's a lot of people that just want to fucking hear the vibes and like they want to hear the music. Like, shut up and fucking play, dude. I'm not trying to do all this. And I get it. That's cool. That's entirely fine. Because to me, what the artistry means is like I'm trying to tell stories through music and have artworks, be there with it as an accompaniment, so that way you can get the whole grasp of like what's going on, and you make up the story as you go. If I give you enough visuals, enough storylines, and you can kind of like play off of it. And actually, where I got that from, evidently enough, was the Gorillas. Jamie Hewlett actually said something about that back in the Plastic Beach documentary. I still have that, by the way. And that's pretty much what I've been doing. It's just a form of self-expression. uh, I try to see it as a whole entire context, or the quote of "I'm here to express, not to impress." And I know that's like kind of what other people are go against, because I don't know. This is when it gets to the political side. There's some people that are using AI or things that like they're just trying to sell their artworks just to put food on the table and like a roof over their head, which I get. Like, everyone has to live at the end of the day. But if you're just trying to just to sell arts just to get numbers on a grid, then I don't think you're in it for the right reasons. And it kind of is a crime against, people's expressions. Take a look at the maker of Gachikuta, Yorana. She was talking about how people are stealing her artwork and using AI to create new version characters of her characters, and be like, they're like basically making themselves as gotcha cutie characters, and then they're like, look at my art. And it's like, she's like, well, you didn't do that. Like, there's no problem with using AI to have fun, but if you're sitting here and taking someone's artworks, what they like created and they actually practiced and had the technique down for years, and then saying that it's your art, like, you didn't draw that, you're not making your own style by it. And it's kind of like a slap in the face to the person that made it. And especially if you're influenced by it, great, but influence comes from everywhere. Joseph Gordon-Levitt said a quote about this too, where he's talking about that everything has been taken from something, but it's how you initially yourself interpretate it that makes it original, or has an originality towards it, which is entirely true. I feel like I'm the fucking Kakashi of like music and art. Like, I feel like a lot of stuff that I've done has not been too original. There's a few things like I say that's been original, but to me, I feel like I've just copycatted so many people that I adore, and I'm like, okay, what did they do, and how can I learn that, and then how can I interpret that into like what I'm doing, and how can I make my own shit off of it? And obviously, people are gonna bite, but it's also like, it's fine. Like, you just have to create your own style from it. You can't just try to pose as someone else. You're not them. be yourself at the end of the day. And I feel like I also had to figure that out for myself. Uh, and I mean, being surrounded by people that are so good at what they do too. Like, there's so many good artists I've shared the stage with, especially with We Touch Grass Entertainment, and then also at, like, back at the California State production company, and then also at the LA Film School, and then SA Institute, and like musicianship at UCLA. Like, all of that stuff, being surrounded by such talented people, I always felt like I was the, maybe not the lowest, but like probably like the one trying to educate myself more in the room, being surrounded by these people, because a lot of people are fucking talented. I don't know if I had the first-hand talent to be in some of those rooms, but I was like, well, I definitely want to know more and I want to discover myself more. And that really inspired me. I think that was the part of it. Like, I don't know if, like I said, like, I don't know if I'm a great artist. I just know that whatever I know how to do, I can do it well. But, and I could say that with confidence, but I know that I put up against other people, I'm like, well, they're probably better than I am. So, like, that's great. And I'm not really too much one for competition. I think I'm more one for, like, maybe in semi competition with myself to try to better myself each and every day. Like, I'm just trying to do better than I was yesterday, but also be in balance of that. It's not like me versus me, it's me living with me and knowing how I can, like, do my own rivalry with myself, to help me become a better artist and a better person. It's definitely shown me a lot. It's definitely shown me a lot being a creative, being an artist, being someone that has used so much times and interpretations for music, art, video, and, oh my god, there's so many things that have came along the way with it. Uh, and like I said, I don't know. Like, okay, for instance, too, like, if I showed my professors like how I work now on, like, Logic Pro or like Final Cut or like fucking CapCut and shit like that, it's so unorthodox and so unhinged. And if you look at my computer with all the file folders like spread out everywhere, I'm pretty sure they would have a heart attack. Like, for if they saw my shit, like, why isn't all this shit fucking organized? And I would just be like, well, I can read it, I can look at it, but like, I can understand it, but like, I'm not trying to have it. It's funny too, because I'm such a neat person. I'm a very, like, clean freak person when it comes to, like, exterior and like my living quarters and like my car, for instance. But when it comes to like my file folder work and also like how I work on my desk, it's just so fucking unhinged. And I'm just like, well, it may be a clutter mind, but I know where things are at and I know how to read it and I know how to organize it. But I mean, it's just how I work. I've worked with other DJs and other musicians, and they're like, why are you doing it like this? And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, this is the way that I've kind of learned and taught myself. And I'm always open to learn new techniques and learn new shit. And people have taught me a lot over the years. But there's still some part of me that, even though that I learned that, I still adapt it to what I've already known and kind of work it in with what I've been doing. And it's just how it is. I don't know. That's just how I work. I don't think there's really any right answer to being a creative artist. I think that as long as you're true to yourself and true to the nature of what you're trying to create, I think there's something very beautiful to be expressed in that. David Bowie talks about how artists are the most vulnerable people in the world, which I find very true, because you're basically putting yourself out there for the rest of the world to see in total full judgment. It's like you're walking out into a stage naked, pretty much. I mean, if you really want to put in some kind of context. Uh, I just saw something about Freddie Mercury where he talks about it as well. That, like, they're like, is there anything that you want to do, or is there anything you want to accomplish, or what can you go back to and redo it? And he's like, I don't know, I'm pretty satisfied with my life. I'm like pretty good, like, where I'm at. I think I'm very happy where I'm at. And they're like, what are something that, like, if there's something wrong in like your future, or like wrong with your life, like, how do you go about it? Is like, well, I just work on it. If there's something wrong, then I'm basically going to go towards that and figure out what's wrong with me and work through it and express it in the best way I can, because it's going to help me, like, better myself. And I feel like that is such, like, it's such golden voices and words of encouragement, and it's just such beautiful ways to express this quotation. Like, these people were just amazing, and it's honestly people I follow by. For instance, too, like, DJing has been an outlet, but in the beginning, it was something I looked up towards people like Justice, like Feed Me, Porter Robinson, like IO. Like, there was all these DJs that I was like, this is so fucking cool. And then like Daft Punk and shit, like I'm like, I want to do that because I love electronical sound. And if I could find a way to harness that, then maybe there's a way for me to express myself. So that was the whole reason kind of why I started. And to tell you the truth, I don't think I'm going to be DJing forever. I think that it's just, there was something at the time that I needed to express what was going on in here. And there was just something begging and crying to be like kind of released out. And I remember the day that it happened, it felt like I was bleeding like all over the place. Like it was just like explosion. And like, I wanted to express that, you know, and I felt like another way to add on top of that was like, okay, you have the music down. How can I accompany that? And it was the visual aspect, you know, making all the visuals. And it does take a fucking while. I'm not gonna lie. There's probably easier ways for me to do it. I mean, I know that I do my own programming. I use CapCut to like kind of do some edits and filters and stuff like that. I kind of like it better than Final Cut Pro. I still fuck with Final Cut Pro. I was sponsored by Filmora for a while, and I did like their whole entire catalog of, you know, artillery and like, you know, their app and stuff like that. But it's just like way too fucking AI based. Like everything has to be filtered through AI for them to kind of work their system, and I just didn't like it. And I remember they're like a new company when they're kind of starting out, so you get like a commission if you like shout them out and stuff like that. And which was, it's nice. I mean, this is how artists work. You know, you get sponsored, you get commissions, you get like, you get brand deals, like all this other stuff, and like that's how we somewhat make money. Buy me a coffee, that kind of crap like that. Buy me a coffee, by the way. And it's just, you know, I get it, but I mean, at the end of the day, it wasn't for me, and I wasn't going to try to sell myself to make it. Is a passive income, and I'm pretty sure if I worked harder at it, I'm pretty sure I can like get that passive income off of Filmora, even if I don't fucking use it. But I just, it doesn't stay true to the nature of me, and I just don't fuck with that. You know, it's not something I fuck with at all. I want to be realistic, and I don't want to be fake about it. Obviously, I do these things fucking unscripted, and there's so much more content that's like a little bit more filtered towards tailored like precision and like a whole entire film synopsis of being like this high adequate film grading like content. And then to me, I do have some of that stuff, but in a certain aspect, I just want to be real. Like, you know, I just want to express myself like it's just a human being talking to another human being. And I want to be real with myself as long as I'm real with my, you know, people even watching this shit. Creativity has helped me elaborate so much of what's been going on. And then, you know, with the rise of AI and like people just basically making music or remixes or art off of a fucking app now that you can pay like $10 subscription for. I just saw an app about like, if you want to remix like your song, like just download the song into this and pay $10 for the subscription and just mix and match beats. I'm just like, are we really staying true to the nature of it though? Like, are we, I mean, we're just trying to get royalties at this point, and there's been such a discussion about that on Spotify, how there's so much like AI generated music, and how there's so many lawsuits happening now because people are just getting booted out by getting their music fucking sound copied by AI, and then like now AI's taken over like the real artist. It's so insane. So I'm just trying to stay true to my nature, along with, you know, being around thousands of artists that are trying to do the same. There's a lot of us. I think artistry comes out in a lot of ways, you know, not just music and like, you know, actual like paperwork artwork, but they're like in fucking fashion, in fucking cooking. Cooking's a fucking art, dude. I think there's artistry in everything that people do. It's just that sometimes people don't see it that way. Rick Rubin talked about something like that, where he's like, a wood shop worker can create a fucking amazing piece of a bed frame, and he's still like, I'm not an artist. It's like, you literally just met a fucking bed frame, dude. That's a form of artwork right there. A doctor doing surgery has to have precision and a steady hand in order to cut someone open and actually replace them all back together. That's a form of fucking art right there. It's building a fucking human back together. That is an art piece right there. And it's a very big form of self-expression, you know. It it's very nurturing to the soul. I mean, for instance, I look at it like from years ago. Like I like think about like how I was 10 years ago, and think about the person I was, like how I dressed, how I held myself, how I presented myself, the way I talked, the way I kind of like was seen around others, and the shyness and the insecurities I had, and how much shelteredness I held back in. Had no tattoos. I remember that. I remember there's a photo I looked at myself and I was like, he has no tattoos. Like, this is insane. It was like in the beginning of me doing my music school career too. I think I was in UCLA or USC with like, or not USC, or SAE with a bass, and I have like no tattoos, like clean, slick, like black hair, and I'm like, wow, dude, like you were really trying to break out of your shell back then. I mean, you can call it either way. So, I mean, another part of me would be like, either you went insane because you dress like this now. I mean, this is just me in my lounge fit. I'm not even dressing in anything crazy. But no, it comes down to everything I wear. You know, like the crazy pants I got by Del Morales. If you haven't seen those, you should check out my TikTok page or like on my Instagram page. You can see it. Like the amazing man, Del Morales has such amazing works. Actually, you know what? Hold up. Let me show you real quick. I mean, look at these things. These things are fucking amazing. And this collaboration I did with this man was just, he's such a freaking talented person. Look how much like detail and stitching in this is, but this is a form of art. He's a self-made fashion designer in the Philippines, and he's not went to school for it. He's taught himself, but that just shows the drive he's had to like encourage others, which he has. It just shows that no matter if you're from fucking like the ghetto or the slums or wherever in any kind of countries like that. I'm from the ghetto. Like it's just like you can make beautiful shit. You can do it with like minimal schooling, but just some really good compassion and drive towards you to know, be like, you know what, I have it in me to fucking do it. And I believe in myself. And I think that's what it comes with, is the belief in yourself. And I always keep coming back to that. I mean, if you don't believe in anything, you got to have belief in yourself first, you know, and in order to get this stuff started, no matter if you suck. Jake the dog said it on Adventure Time. You got to suck at something to be sort of good at like nothing really, or something. Sorry, my bad. I probably fucked that up. I'm an Adventure Time enthusiast, and I probably fucked up that line. That's so horrible. This whole journey as a creative artist has meant a lot. There's been a lot of self-expression, a lot of hurts. I think I've really, I think I'm an over emotional person sometimes. If we want to get into the astrological sense of it, I'm a Cancer rising, which fucking sucks because it means I'm a fucking crybaby. But like, I really do express myself through my mixes and like the music and the visuals and the heartbreak. And there's some things that I do listen to that I've made, and I'm like, this is really fucking good. But like at the same time, like, fuck, like that sounds like it hurts. Take Joji, for instance, like stuff that's so heartbreaking, but you're like, this is really good, but it just sucks that we have to suffer and make good shit. I don't think it always has to be that way, you know? Like, I think artistry comes from all, you know, forms of emotion, but we are not our emotions. We are just the person processing them. You're supposed to be your emotions. You know, you're not supposed to hold on to those things. We process and we move on, we move forward. Like this project I just did, you know, it was such an emotional and mental thing for me to be drained into, but it's just like it helps me in so many regards. And then it's just like, all right, well, we don't hold on to it, we move on. And then like it was okay, even going back to that real quickly, there's some part of me that kind of didn't want to. I mean, I was talking to Logan about it, and he and I were discussing it, like I said in the beginning, and I was like, some part of me just doesn't want to let it go, but I know it's the end, and you know it's inevitable, and I know I can't. It's not like I can do this forever and shit like that. I'd be like, what happened to that project you're working on? And it's like fucking 6 years later, and I'm just like, oh, I'm still working on it. Like, no, it doesn't happen that way, you know. And I knew it had to come to an end, and I was kind of, it was funny because I was looking forward to it. Well, I was just like, oh my god, we're almost at the finish line, because there's so many chunks of it in the beginning where I was like, okay, I have a good portion of these things done. If you look back at some videos that I have on TikTok, I talk about how I'm like 30 to 40% done, and I'm like showing the timeline of it, and then like the more and more as it gradually grew, I'm like counting down the days and the clock. I'm like, oh fuck, it's ending, and the day it fucking finally ended, I'm like, holy shit, like now we're here. And it just took a while to process that. And like I said, I just didn't want it to end. But when it did, there's that satisfaction of just being like, you did it. And I feel like we come to terms with all of our creative artworks, whether if they're quick or long. You know, I think there's a good definition to all of them. They hold so much value to us, and I don't think you're. I don't know. I don't think I know that your artwork and your music pieces do not hold any weight or value to fucking likes, subscriptions, or comments. You have so much potential to all of your creative artworks, and no amount of likes, shares, comments, and shit like that's gonna hold any fucking value towards that shit at all. You don't need any of that to tell you how fucking good your artwork is at all. That has no weighted value to how definitive your art pieces are. And I truly, entirely believe that. No matter if you get like fucking 15 views, no matter if you fucking get like 2 likes or you get like 2 shares, dude, it doesn't fucking matter because no matter what it is, your artwork has high potential value. And I can't wait to release this. Like I said, I'm releasing this set in a few days. I just have to finalize a few more things. I just want to come onto this channel and do this again. It's been so long. Plus, I have pink hair now, so I just really want to show that off. But no, like literally, I wanted to come back. I mean to do these episodes weekly, and I was trying to. I just got so caught up with everything else going on, like finishing the set, getting everything organized, like working on other creative art pieces, getting the Beat Haven stuff together, and like all this other crap. And I know that's not excuses, but I really do want these episodes to be weekly. I think that's something I kind of want to do just as like a check-in for myself, really, and also just to kind of talk to the audience, like it's like friends hanging out. And yeah, I really can't wait to present this to you guys. I definitely wanted to have this talk beforehand, and it's been on my mind for a minute. And today too, I was like, today is the fucking day. I just gotta go fucking do this fucking video because it's been on my mind, especially heavily this morning. I went to go visit my brother in the hospital yesterday and did like a bunch of errands, and I actually was reaching out and doing emails to other conventions and stuff like that. So this morning I woke up and I was just like, dude, this conversation or this topic has been on my fucking head for a while, and I need to go do this and get it out. So I'm really glad that I actually got to sit here and talk about this for a bit. I mean, if you have any comments about fucking artists and creativity and what it means to you, please fucking share that shit, dude. I would love to read that. I would love to hear people's, stories and, their entire timelines of what has going on and how it's helped them fucking release what's going on, the therapy it's given them and also like what it means to everybody. I really think I wanted to do that. I want to try to create a community about like, creative artworks. And I think that's something that I've always wanted to do since the beginning of time, dude. I think it's just always been something about having a community of just creative artwork people, artists, artwork people, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And I think it just means a lot to a lot of us. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end this episode off here. It's probably been a minute now. I don't know if it's been like almost like a full hour, but if you stayed to the end of this video, like I really, 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 really fucking do appreciate you. Catch a Merciful Mindset's coming out within next week or the week after that. Probably one or the other. I have no idea. Probably the week. I don't know. Well, it'll come out before March is over. Let's just say that. Okay, April. I'm not gonna wait till April. April's my birthday, and I'm not gonna wait till then. So, because then I'm gonna be really busy. So I'm gonna just say the end of March, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day or whenever you're fucking seeing this, night, evening. I don't care. But I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in to NeuDay, NeuYou, episode 2. Why am I putting up 4 fingers? It's only 2. And I will catch you guys in the next episode. So, New Jack out.